Vikings ended after 6 brutal seasons and gave birth to another great series, Vikings Valhalla. The first season was met with a lot of praise, and fans are excited for Season 2, but we have a few unanswered questions from Season 1. Now, if you're wondering what a few of the biggest unanswered questions are and what's going to happen in Season 2, stick around to find out. So let's start off. When can we watch Season 2 of Vikings Valhalla, and what will the plot revolve around? Vikings Valhalla Season 2 arrived on Netflix on the 12th of January 2023, and if you want even more great news about the series, the show's writer also said that Season 3 is already in the works and can be expected sometime in 2024. The first season was the most watched show on Netflix within 24 hours of its release in 2022. Thank you to the millions of you who have watched and rewatched Season 1, said showrunner and creator Jeb Stewart. The numbers have been mind-boggling and beyond my wildest expectations. He then continued, while the storylines for Leif, Freydis, Harald, Olaf, and Canute, and the rest of our amazing cast are secret, I can say without hesitation that their journeys will be even more epic than what you've seen so far. Now Season 2 picks up after the fall of Kattegat. This event has made Leif, Freydis, and Harald fugitives in Scandinavia. Jeb said that this season will take these 3 Scandinavian heroes out of their comfort zones, and that Season 2 for Harald and Leif is a road trip, and both of them will go on this incredible journey. He also said that Freydis will go to Pomerania, which is a very difficult environment. He said that even when you hang out with your people, you can still find yourself in trouble. But what most of us are excited about is the motley crew they put together of nobles, Muslim astronomers, and con men all in one group. Next, in Season 2, will they explore the wider world? Jeb hinted at it a while ago, before the release of the second season. He said that the Vikings were great traders that went to Constantinople, Egypt, and the Middle East. He said that you can find Viking DNA all over Europe, and we could place our bets on the idea of the Vikings exploring a bit more in Season 2 and Season 3. So, who can we expect to see in the cast for Season 2? Sam Corlett will still be playing as Leif, Frida Gustafsson as is Freydis, and Leo Suter as Harald. Olaf will still be played by Johannes Harcourt Johannesson. Soren Pilmark is King Sweyn Forkbeard, with Bradley Freegard still playing as King Canute. We also have a few new characters in the show, like Herker, who will be played by Bradley James. Mariam is played by Hayat Camille. Yaroslav the Wise will be played by Marcin Doronczynski, and Elena will be played by Sofia Lebedeva. We're all extremely excited to see what the cast brings to the table and how the character stories will progress in Seasons 2 and 3, and hopefully Season 4 of Vikings Valhalla. Now, what are a few unanswered questions we have from Season 1? By the end of the first season, Vikings Valhalla killed off many titular Northmen, and a whole lot of Saxons went down with them. The end of the first season left many fans with a few questions, and we're here to answer them. So, for the first one, who did who dirty at the battle for Kattegat? The first season's final episode, The End of the Beginning, was centered around the battle for Kattegat, the capital of Viking Norway. Now, to keep the realistic aspect alive in Vikings Valhalla, it is not a battle of good versus evil. It's way more complicated than that. Most of you weren't hoping that either conniving Jarl Olaf or the extremist Jarl Kjær take Kattegat over, but before anything major could happen, the issue was blurred with human sacrifices, a brutal civil war, and so many double and triple crosses, it was almost a Mexican standoff. But the real answer is who played who, and in what order. To put it simply, Harald betrayed Kattegat, then he betrayed Olaf and Kjær for Kattegat, but Kjær already betrayed Harald and fed him wrong information, and Olaf betrayed both of them as he knew Harald would betray him, so he used that betrayal to weaken both Kattegat and Kjær's army. This left Olaf as the strongest power in Kattegat, or so he thought. But even after Valknut was unraveled, a lot of questions stayed around. Why did Olaf let Harald live after being double-crossed? Is Olaf really a Christian fundamentalist? Is Harald even a Christian? Why did both of them betray Christians to help the pagans? Is Kjær really blessed with second sight, and does this mean that the seer is alive? But the most important question of all is, should Olaf change his name to Odin because he's a master manipulator, or was he just lucky? Next, what happened on the other side of the North Sea, and who did who dirty in London? In the same episode, we saw another power struggle, this time for the throne of England. But compared to the battle for Kattegat, this fight was centered more around scheming than throwing masses of troops at each other. But the fight was just as treacherous and no less significant. The most important characters here were the interim Viking King Forkbeard, the Viking Queen Elfgifu, the Norman Queen Emma, and the royal advisor Godwin. Each character's level of duplicity will no doubt have a major impact on the show as it goes on, and it's clear that Forkbeard, Emma, and Godwin all conspired to kick the troublesome Elfgifu out of the picture, but knowing how deep they were in cahoots with each other matters. One of the key moments that began this conspiracy is when Godwin killed Emma's stepson, Edmund. Emma loved Edmund, so it's hard to imagine her being in on that part of the scheme. The scheme also took Forkbeard away from the throne and back to Norway. This conveniently immediately leaves Emma the only one left in England with the claim to the throne. Did Emma and Godwin make their own little scheme behind Forkbeard's back? And is the new Earl of Wessex going to place his sights on a higher position? We'll just have to wait and see. Now, what's going to happen to the Viking Empire? Historically, the Vikings had a few major settlements outside of their native Norway, Sweden, and Denmark settlements. These were in Iceland, Greenland, the British Isles, and Normandy, France. Now, at the end of Season 1, almost all of those settlements are in a state of political flux and have several questions about their futures, except for Iceland, which is doing well. England is left in the hand of Emma, who isn't even a Viking. She's married via Christianity to King Canute, but he's married via pagan traditions to Danish Queen Alfgifu. She's neither a true Saxon nor a true Viking, so her hold on England is unsubstantial. Now, Canute is in his native Denmark. He's trying to repel a Rus invasion from the east. This means Denmark is left with a temporary ruler while Canute is at war, most likely a Jarl. Norway was just in the middle of a civil war and has lost most of its population. Kattegat has fallen, and let's not forget that Forkbeard has sailed into the city with hopes of taking it. This all means that Norway might have 3 different kings in the same day. Now that Leif Erikson has left, Greenland might be in trouble, but it's stated in the series that Greenland's leadership has always been iffy. Next, something that we were all wondering about: will Emma let Godwin survive? Emma's claim to the throne might be a bit fragile, but at the end of Season 1, her scorecard tallied the highest. For starters, she has a rightful claim to the throne, and she's actually in England. Canute and Forkbeard are away. The Earl's rebellion has been hindered. Alfgifu has lost her power and is at bay. And let's not forget, Edmund is dead. Emma is most likely going to lead England solo. Well, at least into Season 2 she will. This gives her free reign to basically do what she wants. And if we speculate that she had no involvement in her stepson's death, her first order of business might be to eliminate Godwin. Emma is clever and saw a small stab wound on Edmund's corpse. She immediately accused Godwin, and assuming she doesn't know about this plot, she's got her primary suspect. Now, will Emma avenge her murdered son? And if she wants to, can she? He is the new Earl of Wessex after all, and is one of Forkbeard's most trusted advisors. Will Forkbeard kill her as a means of retribution? Well, who knows? Maybe she'll keep Godwin on to benefit her own game. And finally, what's gonna happen to Olaf? From the first episode of the season, people hated Olaf. When we established that Leif and Fridis are the show's main protagonists, we saw how much Fridis had suffered and how much trauma she has. In fact, if you only watched the first episode, you would realize that it revolves around Fridis' quest for revenge. But in the next episode, we see a way for Fridis to find a bit of comfort and healing in the form of her religion and the goal of becoming a shield maiden. But throughout the season, Olaf is lucky and uses tricks to deceive people into getting the things he wants. And in the final episode, we're left with Olaf in a position of power. Now he might be running out of luck, and his wows might not be enough to save him. Only a few minutes after taking Kattegat and calling himself the new king of Norway, Olaf gets the news that Forkbeard has sailed into the harbor with his fleet. This is bad news for the Jarl that betrayed Forkbeard's son, King Canute, and this will most likely end in his death. In the last moments of the episode, he throws off his regal coat, takes on his axe, and runs out into Kattegat. Will this be the end of Olaf? Will he die a warrior's death or flee into the world where everyone is his enemy? To find out, watch Season 2 of Vikings Valhalla that's currently streaming on Netflix. And with that, that's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, let us know in the comments what you're most excited about for Season 2 of Vikings Valhalla. And don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.